Hello, and welcome to Grey Matter's ISV Partner Day 2020. My name is Paul Henwood, and I'm a Cloud Solution Architect at Microsoft. And in this presentation, I will give you an overview of the Power Platform. First, we have Power BI, which was the first member of the Power Platform. Power BI is a collection of software services, apps, and connectors that work together to turn your unrelated sources of data into coherent, visually immersive, and interactive insights. Your data may be an Excel spreadsheet or a collection of cloud-based and on-premises hybrid data warehouses. Power BI lets you easily connect to your data sources, visualize and discover what's important, and share that with anyone or everyone you want to. Next, we have PowerApps, which is a suite of applications, services, and connectors, and the data platform that provides a rapid application development environment to build custom apps for your business needs. Using PowerApps, you can quickly build custom business applications that connect to your business data stored either in the underlying platform, which is Common Data Service, or in various online and on-premises data sources, such as SharePoint, Excel, Office 365, and so on. PowerApps democratizes the custom business app building experience by enabling users to build feature-rich custom business apps without writing any code. And PowerApps also provides an extensible platform that lets pro developers programmatically interact with the data and the metadata and apply business logic, create custom connectors, and integrate with external data. Next, we have PowerAutomate, formerly known as Microsoft Flow. PowerAutomate is a service that helps you create automated workflows between your favorite apps and services to synchronize files, get notifications, collect data, and more. We also recently added the new addition to the Power Platform in Power Virtual Agents. Power Virtual Agents empowers teams to easily create powerful bots using a guided, no-code graphical interface without the need for data scientists or developers. Power Virtual Agents addresses many of the major issues with bot building in the industry today. It eliminates the gap between the subject matter experts and the development teams building the bots, and the long latency between teams recognizing an issue and updating the bot to address it. It removes the complexity of exposing teams to the nuances of conversational AI and the need to write complex code, and it minimizes the IT effort required to deploy and maintain a custom conversational solution. And supporting all of these four elements, there are three cross-cutting capabilities. First is the data connectors, which make it possible to connect to all of your existing business data without having to write any code or do any integration, which is really important to truly empower every developer, the citizen developer, and the business analyst. We have the Common Data Service, the core for all of the business data, which is stored in a secure way and delivering great value on top of it. Finally, we have AI Builder, making it very easy without any code to use machine learning, predictive capabilities, and cognitive services inside of your apps, flows, and dashboards in a very natural and easy to use way. You really get the most value when you use all of these features and products from the Power Platform. If you're using Power Apps and not Power BI, you're leaving a lot of value on the table. The same thing with Power Automate and not using Power BI or Power Apps. The nice thing about these tools is that any user can quickly build a solution with one or more of these products and really simply integrate them together into a complete solution. If you build a Power App to go digitize some data input, you could use this data to build a Power BI dashboard on top, allowing you to make truly data-driven decisions. And with Power Automate, you can respond automatically to changes in data or KPIs, or respond to alerts inside of your Power BI dashboards. By integrating Power Apps and Power Automate, you can automate your application and drive business processes. All of this connecting together is underpinned by the Common Data Service, which is where all of that core business data that you're generating across the Power Platform can be stored, managed, and secured. These capabilities don't stop inside the Power Platform, they extend out to Azure as well. This is an important message when talking about the Power Platform. It's not just about the citizen developer or the business developers, it's about every developer. If you're a professional developer, you can use Power Apps and Azure or Power BI and Azure. You can actually get a ton more efficiency and productivity as part of the development projects in a way that hasn't really existed in the market up to this point. We're the only cloud provider that's not only supporting infrastructure, but also has a complete low-code development environment, and all of this is supported by all of the dev tools that you know from Microsoft, including Visual Studio, VS Code, Azure DevOps, and GitHub. And all of these support integration with the Power Platform. And this allows you to start in the Power Platform without any code, continue to iterate and grow your solution. Then, if you ever need to, you can actually enhance these solutions with Azure without having to start over. And that combination of the Power Platform and Azure is a winning combination from what we're seeing with a lot of our customers. We've seen fantastic adoption across all industries of the Power Platform. We see over 3 million monthly active developers on the Power Platform. We have a 7 times growth in Power Apps in production in the last 12 months. And we've seen over 3 times the number of monthly active users for Power Apps. And we also have over 97% of the Fortune 500 using Power BI. And inside Power BI, there are over 25 million data models inside of the Power BI service. And last but not least, we have over 25 billion automation steps running every day. That's a lot of automations and flows, simplifying and improving the work environment for all of those users. What makes the Power Platform so special? So let's start by talking a little bit more about Power Apps. There are a number of benefits of low-code app development, from increased development agility, which allows you to automate and enhance repetitive and time-consuming processes and reduce errors across your organization. You can also reduce time and costs in building these applications, enabling you to develop more solutions. And with simple integration into Dynamics 365, Office 365 and Azure, you can remove data silos with the use of the Common Data Service. And Gartner is estimating that over 65% of all application development will be low code by 2024. Another benefit that we really see is that IT tends to be an expert in security, governance, compliance, and scalability, whereas the business is an expert at solving their day-to-day problems. Low code empowers this partnership and allows and helps IT and the business collaborate together. And from Forrester research, we can see that 65% of organizations report that they have an app development backlog, and 37% of organizations are still using paper to manage critical business processes. And 69% of organizations say that accelerating digital innovation and transformation is the #1 reason they embraced low-code application development. There are some processes that are best solved by off-the-shelf SaaS solutions, but there isn't always an app for that. Some processes are best solved by custom app development, but there's only so much custom app development an organization can invest in. Everything else is a missed opportunity to optimize and innovate, and low-code development really solves this for you. One of the main benefits of Power Apps is that you can build custom applications in hours, not in months, and they can connect to your existing data and systems to solve problems faster and drive efficiency. You can use templates and use drag and drop functionality, or you can have custom code to build pixel-perfect, simple, mission-critical web and mobile applications. And this is for all users. It's fully featured end-to-end low-code development application, and this can be done for citizens, pro developers, all with IT control. And you can leverage the common data model with pre-built AI models in AI Builder and unlock innovation faster across your organization. PowerApps enables you to tailor out-of-the-box solutions. It's a single platform with unlimited opportunity. You can make Office 365 and Dynamics 365 your own with powerful apps that span productivity and business data. You can customize SharePoint Online, use PowerApps with Microsoft Teams, and build custom applications on Dynamics 365. You can build highly customized task and role-based applications. You can clear the development backlog by empowering those citizen developers to leverage this low code through DevOps. You can automate paper processing and manual data collection. And you can deliver this immersive, complex platform modernization as it's all built on Azure with massive scale. And you can rely on Microsoft for the robust infrastructure that we supply. And this really empowers all developers across the organization to unlock this value quickly through this hybrid environment. And this platform is really designed for all users, from citizen developers to IT administrators to professional developers and those app wizards. Those citizen developers have this easy to use drag and drop interface so they can choose from a large selection of templates or start with a blank canvas. And they can easily connect their data and use Excel-like expressions. There's one admin center that's used for all of the IT administration, so there's no compromising on governance and security. So you have one centralized view and management for all of your first and third-party applications, eliminating shadow IT. For developers, they can experience the full range of development and application lifecycle management functionality with rich pro developer tools like Visual Studio and Azure DevOps. And they can reuse your existing IP and skills with PowerApps components having a CLI, and with VS Code, you can instantly create value for the business. And PowerApps is not just about building the application, it's also about building in intelligence. You can easily build, train, and publish AI models without writing a single line of code using pre-built or configurable templates with the AI Builder. You can also collate all of your data into one place. We have connectivity to 275 plus different endpoints. These are services, files, databases, or you can even use your own custom connector or connect to data on premises. And you can leverage this data through the Common Data Service and enhance this data with the Power Platform. With PowerApps, it's an encouragement of both IT developers and professional developers to collaborate together to make sure that there's governance, compliance, and security around any solution that's created. In my demos for this session, I'll be creating a device ordering system. Imagine an organization where every 3 years the employees go through a hardware refresh cycle. The organization would like to build a customized app that runs on the web and mobile devices, which will help streamline the device order and approval process. And moreover, they do not have traditional development resources available, such as .NET, Xamarin, or custom website developer to create this application. In this demo, I will show how to build the PowerApp part of this solution. I'm going to show how to create a Canvas app, add screens to this app, use formulas in the app, and navigate between screens, and then customize galleries inside those screens and capture a collection inside the app. So the first thing I need to do is navigate to make.powerapps.com and then actually create a new blank Canvas app. From here, I can give this a name, and I'm going to call it Device Ordering App, and hit Create. Once loaded, I'm presented with a blank Canvas app. I can come in here and rename this screen 1, this first page, to the main screen. I can then add a header to my screen. I can resize this header, change the text that appears in here. Then I can change the orientation of the text, and I can change the text font size as well. I can also change things like the text color and the background fill for this label. I can now add another text label which will show who the logged in user is, so I can choose text label again. I can move this up to appear in the top right hand corner, can change the font color to be white so I can see it. And then I can change the text that's appearing in here. From this drop down in the top corner, I can choose the text. Rather than it showing text, I'm going to use a little formula here. I'm going to say hello. And I'm going to look at who the logged in user is. So I'm going to use a function called user. And I'm going to pull in the full name. And you can see here, it's actually saying hello Paul Henwood, as it can see that I'm actually logged in. And then I can change the text orientation to be right. Now I've put some basic items on my form. I can actually go to the app checker at the top to make sure that everything's fine. I don't have any errors, that's great. So I can file and save this. And I'm going to call it device ordering app and store it here in the cloud. And this will take a few seconds and this will just save this app for me. I'm now going to add a device gallery and connect to my data store. So again, on this insert tab, I'm going to choose from the search box here, gallery, and I'm going to add a horizontal gallery. I'm going to resize this to fit on my screen. I can then connect this to my data store by selecting the gallery and choosing from the data source here. I'm going to type Excel and I'm going to use Excel as my data source, and I'm going to import from an Excel file. I'm going to choose my device ordering data Excel file and click open, and I'm going to choose both the devices and manufacturers tabs from that Excel file and hit connect. You can see here this data contains an image of the actual device itself, the manufacturer, the item, and a description as well. I can now resize and orient this gallery as I want it to appear. So I can reduce the size of the images like so, and actually make it appear in a size that makes sense for me. Now I have a gallery that shows all of my devices. I'm going to want to add another gallery that shows my manufacturers, so I can use this to slice the main gallery. So I'm going to choose a vertical gallery, and I'm going to resize this and orient it where I want it, and make it appear down the left hand side here. And then I can connect it to my data by choosing the manufacturers dataset that I chose earlier, and you can see this is inputted here. The images that are shown on here are the location, and I'm going to make some changes to what's being displayed. So what I can do is I can change the layout here to, instead of being the image, title and subtitle, I'm going to change this to appear as 2 columns. I'm then going to change the wrap count to 1. And now what I can see is just the image of the head office of these manufacturers. What I can then do is change the size, much like I did with the previous gallery. So I'm going to make this appear a little bit smaller. I can then navigate back to the tree view here and actually rename this gallery to be the manufacturer's gallery. I can then choose the image that's being displayed. And as you can see from this formula bar along the top, it's showing the headquarters of this item, which is a column in this dataset. I'm going to instead change it to logo, so I can see instead the logo for these manufacturers, which is what I want to show. Now I want to make it clear to the end user when they've selected one of these manufacturers. So I'm going to go to the manufacturers gallery here, and from the drop down I'm going to choose a template fill, and I'm going to change what's actually displayed here. So instead of just being white like it is right now, I'm going to change this to be conditional. So I'm going to say if this item dot is selected, so this item has been selected, then I want it to appear as light blue. Now you can see if I hold Alt and click on the manufacturer, that it's actually changing the highlighted manufacturer and showing it as light blue. I now want to configure so when I select the manufacturer name on the left hand side, it filters the item gallery on the right and filters down to a specific device. First, I'm going to rename this gallery just to make it clearer that it's the device gallery. I'm now going to change the device gallery to show only the devices for the manufacturer that's been selected on the left hand side. So I can change the item formula to say filter, devices, and I'll set the manufacturer ID to be equal to the manufacturer gallery's selected manufacturer ID. And you can see as I select the manufacturer on the left hand side that it updates the device gallery on the right. If I select the all-in-one along the bottom here, I can see that this is currently showing me what the device type is, but I actually want this to show me what the item price is. So I can change this to this item.price, and it will actually show me the price of the item here. And what I can do now is I can actually configure this price to actually show the currency as well. And I can do this by using a text formula and setting this price and basically specifying a formula for it. And now you can see I can see the currency value as well. I can change the text box here as well, so rather than showing me the device name, I can show the title instead. I might now want to add some functionality such that I can select multiple devices and compare them and see them on another screen. I can select my item and I can then select input and add a text box. And now it will add a text box for each of the items inside my gallery. I can move this, change the name of this text box to compare. And now I can create a collection so that when I actually tick this text box here, it will actually select this item and add it into a collection, so I'll know which items I'm going to compare. So I can select the checkbox here and I can select from the list on check. I can then change this to say collect, and I'm going to call this collection compare list, and I'm going to add this item to it. I then want to make sure that on uncheck I deselect the item. So what I need to do is I need to change this to be remove compare list, which is on the uncheck. I can then test this by selecting the comparisons, going to view and choosing collections, and I can see here these are the two items that I've selected and it's been pulled into this compare list collection. I can now add another screen such that when I click on the compare button that I can launch this comparison screen. So I can go to new screen at the top and choose blank, and I can rename this compare screen. I can then navigate back to the device gallery and I'm going to add a new button and resize. This is going to be my button that chooses to compare. I can then change the text of this button by going to the text screen for this button, and I can write a formula here that will actually do a comparison and count the number of items currently in the compare list. I can then resize this button to make sure I can nicely see the number of items compared. I can then copy this button as well. What I might want to have on the left hand side here is a clear button, so I can actually remove all of the items that have been added to the comparison list with a quick click. So I will change the name of this to be clear comparison. I can now change the compare item button to navigate across to the compare screen by selecting action at the top and changing the navigation to the compare screen, and I'll set the transition to none. I can now test this by going into the preview and clicking on the button, and I can see at the moment I haven't built anything on this comparison page, so it's blank. I can now build this compare page by starting to copy items from this initial device gallery page. So I can select my labels that I currently have. I can go back to my comparison screen and paste them, and you can see I've still got my login name in the top corner and I've got the name of the page along the top, and I can change this to be compare screen. I can then go back to the gallery on the first page, come into the compare screen, copy that as well, and now I have my comparison screen in the same location. I can now select the gallery, and instead of showing devices, I can have this show the compare list. So on items here, I can change the contents to compare list. And you can see from the first screen, I've currently just got the one item selected. But if I were to go back to the first screen and select another item and come across to my compare screen, you can see that I have multiple items appearing in my list. In this demo, I showed how to create a Canvas app from scratch and create gallery items, buttons, and a navigation experience between various screens. Now let's take a look at Microsoft Power Automate. We know that enterprise organizations want to move faster with less resources, but what does the market tell us about the landscape for automation? According to a Forrester study on Power Apps and Power Automate, the benefits of automation are almost immediate. With just 18 to 24 months, businesses anticipate seeing a cost saving of 5 to 10%, This is just the short-term benefits. When you look at the long-term savings of automation, organizations can save 30% on cost-freeing your entire organization to reallocate those funds to focus on what matters and grow in new and powerful ways. How does an organization achieve that 30% saving? It's through a combination of factors. 60% of all jobs have at least 30% of automatable activities. Almost half of work activities have the potential to be automated using current technologies. And there's a huge opportunity in collecting and processing data through automation. It's time to empower your people to drive more business value by shifting their focus from repetitive tasks to more strategic work. This tends to create a happier and more productive employee. By putting the power to automate in the hands of those who know the work best and will benefit the most, it creates an employee that is happier and more productive. The entire business is more productive and customer satisfaction increases exponentially. For those that aren't familiar with PowerAutomate, it's an end-to-end intelligent automation platform that brings together digital process automation with API-based automation that you know in PowerAutomate today, with the newest features in robotic process automation and UI-based automation into a single cloud-based offering. It enables everyone from end users and developers alike to build workflows that automate highly repetitive, manual, and time-consuming tasks across legacy, on-premises, and cloud applications and services. With PowerAutomate, we're empowering organizations to do more with less. Microsoft Power Automate is a low-code automation platform that unlocks analog data with AI. It automates UI with robotic process automation and orchestrates APIs with digital process automation, all in a single cloud-based automation platform. Importantly, Power Automate is automation for everyone. Power Automate is designed for ease of use for business or departmental users, the world's growing citizen developer community, yet also offers the functionality required for experienced developers. Power Automate is also built to support the needs of modern IT teams and admins, from automating mundane IT functions to providing security, compliance, and control over the usage and execution of Power Automate across the IT ecosystem. Power Automate can be used to do simple tasks, such as scheduled delivery of emails, to seamlessly integrating with enterprise applications, to enhancing and automating processes that are cumbersome for IT admins. For end users, they have the ability to understand the business and solve their own problems. For professional developers, they can use code to unblock complex requirements and reduce time to develop and deploy. And for IT professionals, they can automate mundane IT activities. The automation is secure and compliant, and it offers visibility and control to help ensure governance. Power Automate offers automation at scale, allowing everybody in your organization to automate workflows using their favorite on-premises and cloud-based apps and services. Power Automate is seamless, secure integration that gives you the confidence to empower users with more control, freeing up IT resources for more strategic work. Power Automate helps accelerate productivity, minimizing repetitive, manual, time-consuming tasks and creating more time for your teams to drive your business and plan your company's future. And Power Automate is an intelligent automation. It combines intelligence with automated workflows with embedded AI and integrated legacy applications. Manual, repetitive, and error-prone tasks are a drag on the strategic thinking needed to drive businesses forward. To improve business process, organizations need an efficient way to scale automation across the organization. Some of the key ways they can do this in Power Automate is through the power of the Microsoft 3 cloud services and the combination of DPA and RPA in one single automation platform. Key capabilities include automate legacy software using bots and screen scraping without APIs, and with SaaS-based robotic process automation. You can automate across your widely used first and third-party applications and services with 275 plus connectors, and without the use of APIs, PowerAutomate is an end-to-end platform for data integration across on-premises software and cloud services. You can integrate your data from the common data service to get a holistic view across your business. And it natively integrates with Microsoft's three largest cloud services, Azure, Microsoft 365, and Dynamics 365. And it capitalizes on cost-effective pricing for individuals and teams that scales to your needs. IT ticket queues and one-off requests are unscalable barriers to the evolving role of IT. We must empower business users to design their own automated workflows on an integrated platform while maintaining security and compliance. PowerAutomate built in an environment founded on security and compliance for the entire organization, and it includes enterprise-grade governance and customizable data loss prevention policies. It's integrated with Azure Active Directory, delivering secure, cloud-based identity and access management services. It's purpose-built for secure, cloud-based and on-premises data integration, and you can base your automation in data privacy with industry best practice and the strictest codes. And this reduces IT backlog by introducing low-code automation built for compliance and secure cloud-based access management. Businesses constantly need to evolve and accomplish more strategic work in less time with fewer resources for manual processes. We need frictionless ways to automate repetitive tasks, improve processes, and renew our focus on sophisticated strategic work. PowerAutomate helps you move faster by empowering those frontline users with APIs. It cuts out those manually repetitive tasks and gives that greater IT efficiency with fewer errors. By applying the automation, you can easily create and publish AI-driven chatbot experiences that automate processes and take actions with PowerAutomate. You can build, train, and publish AI models with the AI Builder's pre-built templates. You can drive end-to-end automation from simple approvals to complex workflows. And you can save time by recording and automating those tedious tasks. PowerAutomate is built with several attributes that enable anyone to begin automating tasks in a matter of minutes. PowerAutomates are built with triggers, actions, and conditional logic. PowerAutomate was designed for ease of use, and with this goal in mind, we built PowerAutomate with capabilities such as the ability to share documents, seamless integration across Microsoft's cloud ecosystems, connectivity to hundreds of applications, a built-in data platform, intelligence, and extensibility to automate first and third-party scenarios. There are hundreds of different triggers, and you can initiate your workflows in whichever way makes most sense, with buttons through connected cloud apps or on a schedule. And there are thousands of possible actions that you can take. You can choose from built-in actions or create your own using cloud services or on-premises solutions, and you can automate advanced scenarios without limits. With intelligent automation, you can build workflows that leverage AI Builder to process unstructured data and continually improve processes. You can then easily share workflows as easily as you share any other documents. You collaborate on building these workflows and distribute these PowerAutomate templates to your organization. And has seamless integration with PowerApps, Power BI, Microsoft Teams, Microsoft 365, and Azure. In this demo, I'll be using the device ordering application created in the PowerApp demo, and I'll be creating an approval flow and send an email to an individual for them to approve the purchase of a device. In this demo, I'll be starting with the PowerApp for device ordering that I created in the previous demo, and I'll be integrating it with PowerAutomate. And I'll be using a modern approval service to automate the approval workflow, which will send an email to the selected approver and take an action based on my response. From here, I can click on Flows, and I can choose a new automated from blank. I can then give the flow a name, and I can search for a particular trigger. Here, I want to trigger when a new record is created in the common data service. I can select the environment that I want to work from. I can then select the particular entity that I want to base this trigger on. which is the device orders entity. I can then select the scope, which is organization. The scope allows you to limit when your flow will run. For example, if you could choose user, it would only run for orders that I create. In this case, I'm choosing organization because I want the flow to run when anyone creates it in the organization. I can now add a new step, and I can go to approval, and I want to start and wait for an approval. In the approval type, I'm going to choose approve or reject, whoever's first to respond. And I'm going to give it a title, and then I'm going to use the device name from the dynamic functions on the right hand side here. Then in the assigned to, I will then again dynamically add the content for the approver, and I'm going to show the advanced options here because I also want to include who the requester is in the details. In the requester, I can again include who the actual requester was, so I can put requested by, and then I can save my flow. I can now add a new step based on what the response is from the approver. So I can add a new step in here, and I want to add a condition. I can now configure what actions to perform if the response is approved or not. In the yes branch, I'm going to add an action in here to update a record in the common data service. Again, I'm going to choose my environment. I'm going to update to the same device orders entity, and I need to select the particular record that I want to update. So in the record identifier here, I can look for the device order, which is the unique reference for this order. I can then go to the advanced options here, and I can change the approval status value to approve. I can then select the approval date to be a dynamic expression, and I can use the function UTC now. I can then add any comments that were made in here. After this, I can add another action, which will send an email if this is approved. And I can specify who I'm going to send this to. And in the subject, I will add your device order has been approved. And I could add additional information in the body as well, including notes that have come from the responder. I can now save this, and I can test my flow. I'll perform the trigger action now, and hit save and test. I'll then navigate back to my device ordering app, and I'll put in my order one more time, and I'll submit my device request. If I navigate back to PowerAutomate now, I can see the flow, and I can see as it's running through. Because I'm the approver, I can see my device request that's come through, and I can choose to approve or reject it at this point. I'm going to choose to approve. This will then approve the flow, which will continue on the processing steps, adding in the final condition, and I can see my approval email here. I could then continue to add any additional logic that I wanted to based on the no criteria occurring. In this demo, I showed how to build a simple flow which will order an item from the PowerApp that was created, send an approval email, wait for that approval to occur, and then do an action, in this instance save a record to the common data service and send an email to the requester. Now let's talk about Power BI. All companies want to do more with their data, and 70% of organizations believe that their data is not being used to its fullest extent. But this is because using all of your data is hard to do. The amount of data is growing, with predictions from IDC saying there'll be 163 zettabytes of data by 2025. And data sources are growing. 86% of organizations are challenged to analyze their unstructured data. And there's a lack of specialized workers. Data science and analytics are the most challenging individuals to find. So how does Power BI help with your modern analytics? It helps in three ways. It helps you to unify both your self-service and your enterprise or corporate BI solutions. It removes the challenges of multiple different tools and solutions and enables you to both use structured and unstructured data. It has AI built in, which means that you can reduce the amount of time spent wrangling this data and spend more time getting answers. And anyone can access and analyze this data. They can make sense and drive confident decisions without having to rely on specialized skills. The unification of self-service and enterprise BI happens by reducing cost, complexity and challenges of multiple different analytics systems and solutions. You can grow and evolve with a scalable, secure, and compliant platform. And enterprise BI tools, so SQL Server reporting services and SQL Server analysis services, are built into Power BI. And you can protect your data inside and outside of Power BI. By using AI built into Power BI, you can make immediate sense of unstructured data like images and bulks of text. You can ask questions using natural language or company jargon. You can discover hidden insights and understand what influences your KPIs. And you can accelerate time to insight with shareable machine learning models. One of the great features of Power BI is that anyone can access and analyze. You can tell your data story with hundreds of different data connectors and visualization options. You can expedite your decisions backed by live dashboards and this single source of truth. And you can run your business in real time and complete ad hoc analysis from any device. You can put insights where users spend time by embedding dashboards in applications. With Power BI, you can transform your data into insights. You need to connect to your data, analyze it, visualize it, publish this to the Power BI service, and then collaborate with other users. So the first thing that you do is get your data into Power BI, and you connect to any number of data sources, both on premises and in the cloud. With Power BI, you can shape and transform and cleanse your data to orient it in the way that you need to report on it. You can connect live to certain data sources such as databases, or you can import the data and schedule a refresh. You can then prep your data with a familiar Power Query interface. And then you can extend the self-service data preparation and output this to data lake storage. Once you've ingested the data into Power BI, you can start to analyze it. And you can do this by creating a model which will then be automatically refreshed and updated as the underlying data changes. And with simplified point-and-click analysis, you can create measures or use the quick measure functionality, clustering and binning to enhance your model and your data. You can then create these powerful measures with a familiar DAX formula, which is an Excel-like language. And one of the main strengths of Power BI is being able to visualize your data in the way that tells the best story. You can visualize with a number of out-the-box visualizations or download a number of custom visuals that are available in our marketplace. In addition, you can actually write and create your own visualizations if you really need to express the data in a way that's unique to your organization. And every visual that you add to the interface will automatically interact with all of the other visuals without you manually needing to link them. And you can use bookmarks and custom navigation to really bring your data story to life and help the user navigate and tell the best story with your data. Once you've ingested, transformed, and enhanced your data and created your reports and visualizations, you can publish to the Power BI service, or you can publish to Power BI report server, which is an on-premises version of Power BI. Here, you can automate the refresh if you chose an import mode, or you can configure the connection to an on-premises or a cloud source for direct query if that's been configured. You can then package your reports and your dashboards into applications to help with easy consumption and control. You can then manage all of your reports and your analytics with an admin and governance settings that are available to you in Power BI. As well as the interactive visuals in Power BI that most of you are familiar with, we also have pixel-perfect paginated reports, previously known as SQL Server Reporting Services reports. You can now publish these to Power BI Premium and visualize them all in the same Power BI interface. And one of the key benefits of Power BI is that you can collaborate with others in the design and creation of these reports. You can provide these insights on the device that's relevant for an individual, so you can optimize a report or a dashboard for mobile or for a laptop. You can use Q&A to automatically discover insights and use natural language to interrogate your data. And you can deliver these insights either powerbi.com or mobile, or you can integrate it into Teams or SharePoint. And you can connect live to models in Excel as well as Power BI. Power BI also has a mobile application, which means you can stay connected on the go. And this isn't just to visualize the reports that have been created for you. You can also annotate and feedback and send people questions, or you can ask natural language questions similar to PowerBI.com inside the mobile interface. In this demo, I will show how to connect to the data behind the device ordering scenario that I created in the PowerApp and the PowerAutomate demos earlier. This will pull data from the common data service, and I'll be able to build reports and visualizations on top. In this demo, I'm going to use Power BI to connect to the data stored in the common data service, which is where the data was stored for the device ordering application that I showed in the previous two demos. I'm going to start with Power BI Desktop, which I will use to connect to the common data service and build these reports. So the first thing I'll do is go to Get Data at the top of the screen and go to More. I'll choose Power Platform from the left-hand side and Common Data Service and press Connect. I can paste the URL for the connection to this environment into this location and then hit Connect. I can then sign in, and once signed in, I can hit Connect. When I connect to the data source, I can expand the entities to see all of the tables that exist inside the Common Data Service. In this instance, I'm after Device Order, I'm after System User, I'm also after Device Procurement Process. And with these tables selected, I can hit Transform Data. In this screen, I can see each of the tables that I've connected to down the left-hand side. So I can take System User, right-click, and just rename this to be a more friendly name of User. I can do the same thing with Device Order and Device Procurement Process. I can now remove columns that I don't need. I can navigate to Device Order, and I can select Choose Columns. From this list, I can deselect all and only select the ones I'm interested in, such as Approval Status Display, Approval Date, and so on. Once I've selected the columns I'm interested in, I can hit OK, and this will restrict the list of columns available to me. I can then right-click and rename these columns as well, such as Approval Status, and I can do this for each of the columns. I can then do the same thing with the user and the device procurement process queries as well. I can make additional changes as well, such as filtering out blank emails. Each of these changes is only changing the data in memory in Power BI and not changing the Common Data Service underneath. I can now join this data from the Common Data Service with data from Excel. So I can connect to that data as well by going to New Source and Excel. And I can select the Excel file that I want to connect to and choose Open. From this Excel file, I want both the devices and the manufacturer's tabs from the Excel sheet. And again, I can hit OK. I don't need to make any transformations to these two objects. So once I'm done, I can hit Close and Apply. This will then load the data from the Common Data Service and from that Excel file and pull them into memory into Power BI so I can start building visualizations on top. I can now go to Relationships on the left-hand side, and I can confirm that this is set up with all of the relationships that I need. In this instance, I want to add an additional relationship where I want to join the email from user to the approval email from device order. I can now add a new column on my device order table to create a link directly back to PowerApps to show the order. And I can do this by right-clicking the table name and pressing New Column. And I can write some DAX in here which will navigate back to that location, passing in the device order column from this table. Once I've defined that link, I can click on the link column itself, and I can change the data category to tell Power BI that this is a web URL in that location. This means that when I use that column in a visualization, I'll be able to click that link and navigate back to that location. I can now create a simple visual in Power BI. From the right hand side here, I can select the requested by column. I could then go and click a number of others, such as the approval status, the device name, this new link column that I've created, and price. and I can expand the table here so I can see all of this information. For price, I can select it and I can change the format here to be a currency, so it appears numerically instead. Rather than showing this whole URL, which makes this table quite large, I can go to the Format button on the right hand side, and under Values, I can scroll down and I can change the URL to appear as an icon instead. So I just get this simple little link here, and when I click on it, it will navigate me back out to that entity, and I'll be able to see this particular order. I can also add additional calculated columns. For example, I might be interested in knowing how long it took for an approval to occur. So I could write a simple DAX calculation which adds an approval time in days. I can now add another visualization. For example, this time I might want to add a clustered bar chart. I can add this to the visual here, make it appear on the right hand side. And I can drag the approver into the axis here. I can add the new approval time into value. And I can add the device order into tooltip. So when I hover over here, I can see the device order number, I can see the amount of approval time in days, and I also can see who the approver is. But I may be interested in actually seeing the number of orders that have actually been approved. And maybe I'm interested, rather than in the total approval time, I'm actually interested in what the average approval time for each of those approvers is. So now I get even better information. I can see here when I hover over Tommy that he has an average approval of 5.9 days, and he's approved 129 orders. And I can see for myself, I've got an average approval time of 1 day, which means I'm obviously doing quite well, for 2 different approval orders. I could then continue to add additional visualizations, and when I've completed my report, I would be able to hit the Publish button at the top here, which would prompt me to save the Power BI desktop file. I can then give it a name, and I can publish it to powerbi.com, where I can then share this report with other people. If I wanted to, I could also embed the PowerApp inside the Power BI report, or I could embed the Power BI report or dashboard inside the PowerApp. It's easy to get started with the Power Platform. I suggest going to powerplatform.com and looking at all the resources that are available for you there. Please visit learn.greymatter.com to learn about all things data from their online training platform. And please reach out to Grey Matter to see how they can help you with analysing your Azure spend, as well as how they can help you implement and build Power Platform solutions.